Hello, it's Lynn Watts here with Wyatt the Wonder Dog Books, and today I want to talk about resilience. So, today I'm going to tell you seven C's of resilience, and this comes from a book called Building Resilience in Children and Teens, Giving Kids Roots and Wings, which I think is a very clever title. It's written by Kenneth Ginsburg. And I really recommend the book. I've used it pretty extensively in doing some research and planning some training for parents on resilience. Very hot topic today. So these are the seven C's that he mentions, and I think none of them will be a big surprise to you, but I do think it helps us to get some focus on what we need to help children develop. So the very first one is called competence. And this simply means helping children recognize where their strengths are, what they're good in, and then helping them to maximize that, to improve, to set goals, and become even more competent in those areas. So the first one is competence. The second C is confidence. And I think this is a very important word to think about because confidence comes from competence. So I think you would probably agree. You could think of something that maybe you didn't feel very confident about, but you practiced it and got better. And then you were not only confident, but also competent. So competence comes before confidence. There was a period of time where we thought we could give students or children confidence simply by telling them that they were smart or they were good at some particular thing or they were artistic or by saying good job with everything they did and giving lots and lots of compliments. Of course, compliments are important. I'm certainly not saying don't do that, but it's not really how we develop confidence. It's important to recognize that confidence comes from competence and to focus on both of those things in conjunction with each other. The third C is connection. And especially today, I think we're more and more recognizing the importance of connection, especially having survived the COVID epidemic, the technology that we find ourselves in the midst of today, which often results in less connection even though we're more connected than ever. And so, connection, real connection, is certainly very important in resilience. So, we want to help kids develop real relationships with family, with schools, with their community. And that's really critical to a sense of belonging. The fourth C is character. And this simply means helping kids develop a sense of right or wrong, developing good character traits. And I think this is getting somewhat of a renewed emphasis in our daily lives. There may have been a time when, rather than really emphasizing it, we tended to hope that children would just figure it out on their own, what was right and wrong, and not so much emphasize the character traits and the kind of things that we want them to embody. So, character is certainly an important part of resilience. The next C is contribution. And I think this really is something that is especially important today. We have heard a lot of talk about entitlement and kids feeling entitled, and certainly helping children see that they're here not only to be the best they can be, but also to make a contribution in some way to making the world a better place. So, encouraging them to contribute to the well being of others, to the environment, just to having a positive impact on the world, and knowing that even as a young person, they can make a contribution. I think that's very important. The sixth C is coping. And this is certainly something that we focus on a lot as counselors. We teach coping strategies, and I don't think this is something that we don't pay attention to. This is certainly a important part of counseling. And the final one is control. And control is a very interesting word, I think, because we can talk about what we have control of, and we can talk about the things that obviously we don't have control of. Certainly, young people, children in particular, face a lot of things that they have no control over, but the adults around them do. So, helping them recognize what they do have control over, helping them make wise choices, and also helping them to develop that sense of inner control that is so important as well. So, those are the 7 C's. And again, that's from the book Building Resilience in Children and Teens by Kenneth Ginsburg. So, hope you find that helpful as you plan your sessions, your classroom lessons, and work with young people in developing resilience, a very important concept. So, as always, thanks for listening.